everyone, this is Michael and welcome to I'm Just a Poor Boy. I just started this channel. If you look, there's a playlist for the Piano Pour Challenge where I've done some time-lapse videos and showed you some of the creative process. This is a custom piece for a customer in England. They ordered actually two paintings with much of the same colors. Today I'm going to be pouring it's half ghost pour, half swipe. On a 30 by 60 centimeter canvas. That's about a foot by 3 feet. I'm really excited about this piece because of the colors are very, very interesting, what she wants to achieve. Also the fact that I'm using some new products and the fact that I'm going to be filming from beginning to end. So, as I said, a 30 by 90 canvas. I have that taped on the back and pinned, and right before I pour, I'm going to spray the back to make sure it's nice and taut, and I will also double check to make sure it is level. I mixed my colors last night to try and get reduce the amount of air bubbles that are going to be in it today, and that worked lovely. Only this blue-gray got a little bit dry on the sides, but that's okay. Just make sure there's no gunk in there later. I'm going to take you through the colors first. So what did I use? I used Amsterdam Acrylics, one of my absolute favorite products. Amsterdam's Acrylics are readily available here as well. And you can often find some deals on it, especially if you buy the larger sizes. So I have here, this is the Carmine. It's a pretty deep red, but to make a little difference with the second red color, which is a Naphthol Deep Red here, when I look at them, I do see a subtle difference, and maybe even on camera, you'll see it even less, and you go, I want it to be different. So I decided to make this Carmine a little bit deeper. So by adding just a little bit of Permanent Red Violet from Amsterdam, and also a tiny bit of Lamp Black. So here's the deeper red color. As you can see, it's quite a thick consistency. It mounds really, really well. It's got a nice delay because this is going to be the base. Next is Vermilion from Amsterdam. Then a color you'll see in a lot of my paintings. This is the Deep Gold from Amsterdam. Next, her house has lots of blues and grays in it. Naphthol Blue, Phthalo Blue from Amsterdam. Lovely, lovely blue color. Next, she showed me her house, and they've got a lot of like blue-gray part in their cabinets, and it was very subtle. So I actually took Amsterdam Sky Blue Light, and I mixed it with some of the Lamp Black, and then added just a little bit of white. Now this is just a titanium white from a standard brand here in Holland. It's a cheap paint, but the whites and blacks work fairly well, especially if I'm using them to affect the tint of something. Then there are the two other metallic colors. That's both from Amsterdam. That is the tin or pewter, and then there is the graphite color here as well. Very, very nice, but again, a little bit cold, but hopefully that metallic shine will come out. Then, of course, as I said, this is Lamp Black. And then finally, my swipe color. She wasn't crazy about white, and I was like, I really want something to contrast the whole thing that's still a little bit bright. So I was struggling with some things, and I decided to experiment with the abstract colors from Sennelier. This is a iridescent pearl, and it came out beautifully. It was actually very rich in pigment. So the swipe color is this, as I said, from Abstract, this translucent pearl, and oh my gosh, this is thinner than the rest because I'm going to be dipping in it. It's absolutely no mound as it goes in. I've got a pretty wide bowl today because I want to be dipping these pieces of paper towel into it. It's quite thin, but boy is it pretty, and it's got a nice shine. I'm glad I decided to experiment, and that actually has 3 drops of silicone oil in it to get my lacing. So those are the colors. I'm going to get everything set up here, get my canvas ready, move the paints to the side, get rid of these, put my gloves on, and we're going to start pouring. All right, welcome back, everybody. I got everything done that I needed to get done. I got my paints stirred, so I'm like happy with the consistency, making sure they're all right, that my red's a little bit thicker than my other colors, and that my iridescent pearl mix is even thinner. I've got some paper towels cut up for the swipes. I'll show you that a little bit later. Just putting my gloves on now. I got my canvas prepared. It was already taped on the back, and I had my push pins put in it. Here you can hear the sound. It's like a drum. Just double check again that it's level. My table is level. I know that, but always double check, because sometimes maybe you didn't push a pin in all the way, or your canvas is slightly warped. So it's good to do that. Enough delay. Let's get started. So I'm going to start with the light red because it's further away, and then I can adapt it if I want. I'm just going to lay down this base coat first. It is fairly thick. That's okay. Pretty close to the edge because I do want it to run off, especially with this swipe technique, because you often don't like go all the way over the edge. So it's nice to have paint on your edge. That might not be enough, but I can always add. It's harder to subtract. I've got different tools. Sometimes I just use a good old cake decorating spatula, but this is a pretty narrow piece. For the sides, sometimes I just use traditional brushes, but L'Olivefe, that's a great company. I see a lot of pours using it. I do have one of these silicone mats, but it wasn't dry for this pour, so I put down plastic again. But this little spreader works like a charm. So I'm going to keep these brushes here just in case I need them. And let's start by spreading some of this red down the canvas. People say sometimes like, oh, you're kind of far away from the line. Yeah, but the paint will kind of flatten out as it's going, so you see it got closer to the line on the way instead of way over it. Just move my little bucket out of the way, so I'll knock that over. So these reds both are not opaque colors, so it's going to be important to really concentrate that the coverage is as good as possible, especially on the top, but I'm also going to pay particular attention to my sides as well. Okay. I kind of wipe this off on the edges of the canvas on the side. That really helps cover those. That side, that edge already looks like it's already done. Let's do another one all the way across. You see, oh yeah, lots of paint here. I can use that to cover this side. That's great. I'm going to do it at a little bit of an angle so that paint goes over the top edge as well. Now I'm going to do the other side, but on the video I'm pretty sure I'm going to fast forward through this because you've already seen how it works with one side and the other side is exactly the same. Okay, we got our base coat down. So I'm now going to start with my pours across the middle. These are the colors that I'm going to be pulling on both sides. I'm going to start with my darker colors, kind of towards the middle, and as I move out a little bit, I'm going to go into slightly lighter colors as well. I'm going to start with my black. I don't want a big white line in the middle, so I am going to use my black in the beginning just to also establish a little bit of a thick barrier between the two areas. So nice. Nope, keep pouring. Good. Pretty happy with that. And now I'm going to move on to my my pin. So now it's time for torching. If it's your first time, this is just, I've got a little one. I should get a bigger one. This is just like a kitchen torch. I always say it's my creme brulee gun. And this is just to pop any air bubbles. So I'm just going to quickly, not too close to the surface, move back and forth. Now, I did mix my paints last night and let them sit, which is a huge advantage, so you don't get nearly as many bubbles. If you mix your paints and you pour immediately, you'll go, what's going on? And there's a lot of air bubbles. I see that a lot online, and I've had my experience myself. So I'm doing it just in case. I'm seeing actually a couple little ones here, so that's good that I'm doing it. Pop those bubbles. Okay, so now I've torched everything. Everything's ready to go. I am just going to give it a slight tilt, just because there's so much extra paint on the canvas. I want to thin it out just a little bit, not too far. A little stretchy, that's good. Now back, and go back a little bit further actually, because the darker red side was a little bit bigger than the light side. The paint in the middle is extra thick. That looks pretty good. And now just a little bit back to center, just so the weight of the paint is in the middle. You start being able to see it as well as the paint is rolling. Great. Now this is the exciting part. We're going to do the swipe component. So I've made this pearl mixture, a translucent pearl mixture. I've added some silicone to get an effect, and by using this kind of swipe, going over it with this, it should create what we call lacing, kind of like a spider webby kind of effect, I like to call it. Here's the pearl. It's very thin in comparison to the rest, and I don't want to stir it too much because the more you stir in a silicone or a serum, the less effect it actually has. I've got my mix here in the middle, and then I have cut up paper towels into small little lengths. With the straight edge, not the perforated edge on the outside, they're all roughly the same size. I do this little perforated cut in there just so I know that that's not the straight edge. I'm going to place these on my paper towel over here. And here's what's going to happen. I'm really looking for the middle of my canvas. That's right here in the pewter. As I go across, I want to try and keep that middle. I'm going to take the paper towel and I'm going to dip it in the pearl mix. And because it's thin enough, it should go in. I'm not getting a whole lot of paint on there, but still, and I want it to kind of drip off a little bit. Don't want too much on there. Let it go off. I kind of hit the side. Now I'm going to place this right in the middle of my line. I'm going to swipe up. Love it. Now my paint is very thick, I see. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should tilt some more, but I actually kind of like the 3D effect, and my lines are very thin coming out. I know I like it. I'm going to keep going until I go, nope, it's not working. Again, it's part experiment. Gonna let it run over that edge as well. So I get that. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, see the top edge, I didn't go all the way up. The bottom edge, I did. And now here's that little bit of pearl I was talking about, but I'm gonna deal with that later. With the straw, I'm gonna blow that out. So I'm gonna see now if I can take this top edge and go over. So I'm gonna dunk again, set it in, slightly overlap, go down, yeah, I like that a lot. And she wanted red to be the primary color in here, so I want to really make sure that that red comes out. Having said that, I think I also want to just now take my red, and I'm just going to do a couple of drip drop crisscrosses throughout this middle, because it's all on the outside and I want the swipe to take it with it. The paper towel picks up the paints, and I'm going, oh, all of the red is outside, so all these colors are covering the red. And I want it to go with it. It's like here, some of that red came out. That's nice. I'm going to do the same with my darker red. Okay, here we go. Dip. Move over a little bit. Yeah, see some of that red's coming in here. A lot is getting covered here. I still think I'm happy with that. I might actually then try a little bit of red swipe later. I'm going to let this sit here for like 20 minutes and then come back and take a look at it and see what's happened with these cells. But for right now, I am happy. Alrighty, guys, let's take you in for a close-up. This turned out absolutely beautiful. I'm super happy. I hope the client is as well. Thank you for joining me today on this journey. I really enjoyed it. Please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and hit that notification bell for weekly updates. Thank you guys so much for joining me. This is Michael for I'm Just a Poor Boy. I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.